I'm in a county where the fortunes of this remarkable piece of Victorian engineering are definitely on the rise. Find out what it is and where I am in just a moment. Today's mission is all about pets, parents and the perfect country pile. And we'll be charting some property lows. Might have to duck, I'm not sure. Oh,
no, we're okay.
Followed by some housing highs.
That is one tall ceiling and you would really need a long feather duster to get out the cobwebs.
Today I'm in Kent and this is the Lees Lift in Folkestone. Built in 1885, this funicular railway was designed to take passengers from the seafront up to the town above. Now, back in 2010, after years of decline and then closure, it fell into the hands of a community-based company who worked hard to restore it to its former glory. Now, 127 years after first opening, it's back on track and now attracts around 100,000 passengers each year. I'll be finding out more about this iconic mode of transport later in the show. But let's first take a look at some unique aspects of this county's heritage. Covering over 1,400 square miles and occupying the southeastern tip of England, Kent shares its border with Greater London, Surrey and East Sussex, and has more than 350 miles of coastline. Stretching along part of these shores are the imposing White Cliffs of Dover that once even forced the mighty Julius Caesar to rethink his plans to invade Britain, seeking instead a less daunting route across a more open and level shoreline near the town of Deal. In the early 17th century, the discovery of an iron-rich spring in the Kent Weald gave rise to the fashionable resort of Royal Tunbridge Wells. Away from the towns, Kent's mild climate and rich fertile soil creates the ideal environment for farming, and due to its abundance of hop plantations, vineyards and orchards, the county is justly known as the Garden of England, a title supposedly bestowed by Henry VIII after he had relished a bowl of Kent-grown fruit. Now for some figures to get your teeth into. The average price of a detached house here in Kent is just shy of £314,000. That's around £62,000 above the national figure. Yes, Kent is extremely popular with commuters who are prepared to pay a premium for properties with a close proximity to the capital. Hotspots here include Ashford with its fast rail line into London and Sevenoaks with its links to the M25 motorway. So, if you want your budget to stretch further, try the market towns of Lenham and Bearsted just to the east of Maidstone. But no matter where you look in this wonderful county, there's a fantastic range of architectural styles to choose from. Kent's 500-year-old hop-growing legacy continues to this day, and the oast houses used to dry fresh hops are a familiar sight throughout the local countryside. A number of these old industrial Victorian buildings have now been converted into exclusive homes. However, their exclusivity can come at a high price, with a 5-bedroom property with at least an acre of land often topping the £1 million mark. The densely forested weald that once covered much of the county has led to an abundance of characterful medieval timber-framed buildings. Prices for a 4-bedroom property immediately east of Canterbury can typically start at £400,000. Kent is also renowned for its weatherboarded style homes. Traditionally painted white, these were a popular style in the 18th and 19th centuries across the county. For a 2-bedroom property in the medieval town of Cranbrook, prices typically start around the £300,000 mark. A great selection of properties there, so we should find something suitable for today's buyer. Let's meet her. Julia, or Jazz as she's known to her friends, lives on a small estate in the Hampshire town of Fareham and shares her large 5-bedroom modern property with her 3 cats, Lily, Trevor and Basil. She works as an air traffic controller and has roped in her close friend and co-worker Kerry to help in her quest to find a new country home.
I'm hoping that I can help Jazz in her search for a new house in the country by actually just being a sounding board, a support mechanism. We don't socialise that much outside of work, but we have been known to sneak off to London to the occasional cat show.
Yeah. and exchanging cat magazines in plain brown envelopes.
Yes.
When we finished with them.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do that.
And being an animal lover, it seems that Jazz's 3 beloved cats are among some of her top priorities.
It's got to be quiet, and it's got to be away from any busy roads or railways.
Nice and safe.
Nice
Safe
and
environment.
Safe environment
Yeah.
for pussycats. Quiet is important to me as well. I don't really want the noise of traffic and noisy people. I don't mind having neighbours, that's fine, but I'd rather the garden wasn't overlooked too much.
Walking distance
Oh,
to
yes.
local shops.
Yeah,
so you get
yeah.
milk and paper.
I walk loads, so I'm quite happy to be up to a couple of miles away from that sort of thing, as long as it's a nice walk along footpaths.
Not only does Jazz want a better work-life balance, she's also hoping this move will allow her more family time.
I want to go down to Canterbury to be nearer to Mum and Dad, and the opportunities have arisen at work to go part-time, which means I can live in Canterbury and be nearer to them, and then just commute back here to work for some of the time.
One of Jazz's other aims, once she's in the countryside, is to fulfil her passion for charity work.
I can imagine that when she moves to Kent, she'll find something, she'll be volunteering or she'll be doing something, because there's a lot of wildlife places around there, and I think she's really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Jazz has spent a lot of time and care renovating her current property, and it's a challenge she's looking to tackle head-on in her new home.
My home is really important to me. It is the centre of my universe, I think. And I really like doing homely things like baking and reading and just knocking about the place and decorating. It is definitely my big thing.
Jazz is always very good at baking cakes for us on the night shift.
Yes, yeah.
One last thing to pinpoint, and that's her finances.
The budget for my move is £320,000.
Fundamental to Jazz's move is her desire to be closer to her parents, who live in a small town just a couple of miles northeast of Canterbury. So our search will centre on the pretty villages surrounding the city, all within a half-hour drive. Time for me to meet up with both Jazz and her good mate Kerry on the shingled beach of Sandwich Bay to finalise all the details of this escape to the country. Well, ladies, a pretty impressive start to any property search, isn't it? So straight off the bat, what's the current state of play with the sale of your house, Jazz?
I've accepted an offer on it, and the
Great news.
buyers are in quite a hurry to get in.
Right then, we better talk about what kind of home you want then. You're moving away from friends, colleagues, people come and visit, hopefully.
Yeah.
How many spare bedrooms?
Still, I could go down minimum of 2.
Now, is this place then, if it's only minimum of 2 bedrooms, does it have to be a house? Can it?
Yeah, detached, semi, end of a terrace, that's fine, yeah.
OK. So, Kerry, you know Jazz through work.
Yeah,
Is she decisive?
she is decisive when she makes her mind up. She's a big considerer.
I mean, this seems at the moment a fairly broad remit.
Yes, yeah.
As her friend, Kerry, any no-nos I should be looking out for, do you think?
Lots of noisy neighbours. Doesn't like noisy neighbours.
Right, OK.
Nice, friendly neighbours will come in and feed the cats for her when
That'd
she
be good,
goes away.
yeah.
I'm just so glad you're here.
Yeah, so
because,
am I,
you know,
so am I,
I'm gonna be hopefully defer to you as her counsel. But I want you both to be brutally honest if you don't like something, because then we can hopefully learn from that as well.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's start the search. Just this way. On a budget of £320,000, Jazz is looking for a modest Kentish home with at least 2 large bedrooms to accommodate visiting friends and a kitchen diner, as she obviously loves to bake. Jazz isn't adverse to a spot of decorating, so is willing to consider a house with potential. And though she hasn't specified a particular age nor style, the property should ideally be walking distance to a village. Critical to the move is the need for a quiet location away from busy roads to keep her 3 precious cats safe. We've got some great properties to show Jazz and her friend Kerry, but of course I won't be revealing the prices until the end of each tour. Our final choice, as ever, is the Mystery House, which will add an unexpected element of sharing to this house search. So, without further ado, let's get started. So Jazz, I've got to ask, where does your nickname Jazz come from? Because you're Julia on it.
Yeah, my name's Julia, but it's my initials, Jas.
Oh, right.
Yeah, everybody who knows me well calls me that.
OK. So I can continue to call you Jazz,
Oh,
can
yes,
I?
please do.
Good,
Yeah, if you
good.
call me Julia, I feel like I'd be naughty and I'm in trouble.
Well, let's just see how we go on the first property, shall we?
Yeah.
Unusually, we're viewing just one property today, which is in Acle, around 10 miles northeast of Jazz's parents near Canterbury. Surrounded by fields, this village is the perfect destination for a bit of calm and quiet, as Acle has one of the smallest communities in Kent, but has still managed to retain its local pub that dates back to the 15th century. Our first house is located just a short walk from the village centre. So then, ladies, for property number 1, I'll give you this house.
Very pretty. Love the wisteria. Yeah, it's, you know, almost worthy of a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very attractive property.
Yes.
These were farm workers' cottages,
Oh, yeah.
dating back to around the 1830s.
It's pretty, it's lovely and quiet.
So, house-wise, is this the sort of house you could see your friend Jazz living in?
I think I could, depending on what was on the inside.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Right.
With its wisteria and wooden picket gate, this property has all the hallmarks of a classic English cottage. So let's see if it's a style that suits Jazz. So come right in to this room. Now, I think it's a decent size.
Yes.
What's this like for you?
It's lovely because it's kind of a bit old, but it's not all dark pub beams. It's got the character, but it's still
Cottagey, but it's got a modern twist to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, which is just the sort of thing I like. Yeah.
So a good start all round?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Good. OK, let's go into the kitchen next.
Oh yes.
Yeah?
It's beautifully done, isn't it? Yes.
Well, it certainly matches taste-wise from the living room, doesn't it?
yes,
So I was hoping you'd like it.
Definitely links in.
Very pretty, very neutral colours,
Yeah.
just your colours.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I love the range cooker. They do some serious cooking on that, I reckon.
So, functionality-wise,
Yeah.
it works for you. You've got that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you've got somewhere to eat, obviously. On a hot day like today, hopefully you'll be outside, but not a bad little area there, is it?
Yeah, that's lovely. I mean, just nice and sunny and bright. Yeah, just plonk there and eat your meals. Look out towards the garden.
So knowing you've got that, would you leave the living room as it is?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother with a table in the living room.
Well, you wouldn't have a need for that, would you?
No, so if you have visitors, I mean, 4 easily.
We're entertaining now,
Well,
aren't we? Well, maybe you could have a later dinner party than you'd normally expect because you've got a bit of space upstairs for a couple of guests. Let me show you. It's all going very well so far, as the size and design down on the ground floor seem to be hitting the mark. Let's hope that the positivity continues upstairs. Now, this is one of 3, double bedrooms.
Yes.
Not huge, of course.
No. So, yeah, I mean, it's it's beautiful, again, beautifully presented, lovely decor, but quite cosy, it has to be said.
Yeah,
But I'm only sleeping here. So.
It feels a bit more cottagey up here.
Yes.
Now, the current owners have got this property set up, I think, similarly to maybe how you would. You've got the master here, spare room the other side, and then the third bedroom is an empty room with lots of storage in there, which I think works pretty well, and a decent-sized family bathroom.
Okay, right.
So, happy with what you've seen so far?
It's very pretty, yes.
Good. All right. Now, let me show you the garden next, okay?
Okay.
Overall, this property isn't lacking when it comes to accommodation, despite its cottage status. And with the internal tour complete, it's off outside. Right then, how about this free, a compact garden?
I think definitely small but perfectly formed, isn't it? I mean, beautifully done. The sleepers are great. Yeah,
The landscaping
yeah.
and the patio area up there.
Yes.
Lovely.
OK, well, now comes the tricky part. I want you to try and value this house.
Yeah. I know, I'm going to go for about 300 before the thunder hits us.
I know.
I go slightly lower, 290.
OK. Well, this is being offered for sale by tender.
Oh, right. Oh,
All right.
OK, yeah.
It's a fairly simple process whereby they have basically a closing date for offers.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the guide price.
Yeah.
And the guide price for this house is offers around £300,000.
Oh, well, hey.
So you're spot on, right then?
Points to me.
Yes. So now it's opportunity for you to have a think about what you've seen. Have a look at those other 2 bedrooms in the bathroom.
yeah.
And then I'll meet you out the front, whenever you're ready.
OK,
All right.
see you in a minute.
See you in a bit.
Thank you.
With a guide price of around £300,000, our first selection is an immaculately presented 19th century cottage that's bursting with character. It comes with a country-style kitchen flowing into a dining conservatory, 3 bedrooms and a low-maintenance landscaped cottage garden. The whole lot is set back off the road in a rural, peaceful setting.
This is a really nice room, isn't it?
It's lovely. It's a classic cottage kitchen.
Yeah, they've done it beautifully. Love the wooden worktops and these big shelves. They're just lovely.
Plenty of storage.
Well, first impressions of the house, very positive. I mean, it really is a lovely, pretty cottage. In fact, the whole place has been beautifully done out, just to my taste. Where we just start to stumble a little bit, I think, is the bedrooms. Even though they are lovely, they really are a little bit on the small side.
Here they are, all done inside?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, short day today. Let's go back.
OK.
When Jazz moves back to Kent, not only is she hoping to explore more of this beautiful county by foot, she also wants to make volunteering a regular date in her diary. So, during the week, we couldn't resist the opportunity to send our house hunters to Wildwood, a wildlife park and conservation charity between Canterbury and the coastal town of Herne Bay. The park is responsible for more than 300 animals, including a variety of endangered and protected species. Jazz and Kerry met up with Trust co-founder Peter Smith to find out more about the park's conservation and breeding programmes.
Well, this is our beaver enclosure.
Right.
And what we've done here is we've built the perfect little beaver habitat. So they've got a lodge and a big pond.
Yeah.
This is all part of our big plan to get beaver back into Britain.
Yeah.
The beavers create wonderful wetland habitats. They burrow into riverbanks, they hydrate the soil, you get rare plants, you get dragonflies, kingfishers, otters, water voles,
Oh, great
huge
stuff.
range of wildlife live where you've got beaver.
Beavers are the largest rodent native to Europe and were once a common feature in the British countryside. But the UK's native beaver population was hunted to extinction more than 400 years ago.
Hey, little fella. Oh, now this is our little baby beaver. Now, he's 4 weeks old now, but you can see he's full of life.
Wow.
Look at his little tail go, because he's just starting to learn to swim.
Slap, slap.
Yes. If you feel that fur there, see
that
that?
is gorgeous.
Now, that's the most dense fur in the whole of the mammal kingdom. Keeps them warm through those winters, swimming. And unfortunately, that's why they were hunted to extinction.
Yeah, for the fur. Oh, gorgeous things.
Another rodent in a successful breeding programme is the tiny dormouse, which has been endangered by the loss of its natural habitat. Hazel Ryan is a licensed handler who looks after the welfare of these fragile creatures.
Now, this is Hazel.
Hi.
And Hazel's our top dormouse handler. Hazel will show you how we look after these animals.
Wow, yeah.
And a very special treat to actually see one being handled.
Yeah.
Another captive puppy. There we go.
Aren't they adorable? Oh my goodness.
This was rescued from the wild.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he only has half a tail now, so he can't go back to the wild,
Yeah.
but he's a very important animal for breeding.
Yes.
And then we monitor populations in woodlands around Kent.
See how they're doing,
and often these are the people who then send us injured ones they find to enter the breeding programme. So volunteers are crucial to the whole process of dormouse conservation.
Dormice are mainly nocturnal, so they're gearing up as evening draws in and the sun sets across the Kent countryside. But for our two house hunters, it's now time to wind down and reflect on the property search so far. With the help of her friend, Hampshire-based air traffic controller Jazz is reducing her work hours in order to ramp up her rural life and be much closer to her parents in Kent. So far, we've seen a picture-perfect period cottage, but still to come, the character takes on a different dimension in house number 2. And for the mystery property, well, they'll be struggling to contain themselves.
I'm getting quite excited about this.
I can tell you are.
Hold me back, hold me back. Plus, I'll be hitching a lift down to a Kentish beach. Well, pretty good reactions from yesterday's property. Jazz certainly seems open-minded, but also fairly non-specific as to exactly what she wants from her new house here. So today I want to show her a property that's bigger both inside and out, and then we're off to see the mystery property, which, as you know, can offer our buyers something rather different. And this one certainly does. Our second property lies in Woodnesborough, and it's our furthest destination from Jazz's parents, just outside Canterbury. But they can still be reached within half an hour. Woodnesborough is just a couple of miles from the larger town of Sandwich, where Jazz can pick up essentials. Sandwich was one of Kent's 5 principal medieval harbours known as the Cinque Ports, and we're stopping here to find out more about this historic town. Morning.
Morning.
How are we?
All right, fine, thank you.
Now, whilst we're here, can we ask you a bit about the area as well?
Yeah, sure, no.
How long have you been here?
I've been here 2 years now.
Right, OK.
Really come down here because of the area, funny enough, so
yeah.
it's really nice.
I mean, we just had a little walk around the town briefly getting here, and it's lovely. It just seems to be everything you need for day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's a very quaint little village.
Yeah.
Very quaint, so it's really nice and relaxing down here.
Yeah.
Sandwich, I think, is an up-and-coming place at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think there's great opportunities around here.
OK. Do you sell sandwiches here?
Yes, we do.
Oh, good. Yes, at last.
Might get something in for lunchtime then.
Not a bad idea. All right. Well, let's take these coffees away. Thank you very much. Well, maybe.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you'll see Jazz again.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully.
I think I'm duty-bound to come back
Lovely.
now.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the business.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheerio.
Cheers, thank you.
Our second property is situated just a few miles away from Sandwich, so it's in a very convenient position to take advantage of all the local amenities. So a couple of miles outside of Sandwich,
Yep.
and we arrive at our second house.
Oh, yeah. Very pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I mean, just really nice, old-fashioned shape and a beautiful outlook just onto these fields here.
Perfect countryside.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, and lovely and safe for the cats as well.
The property itself, history is a little vague. Speaking to the owners, it's between 200 and 250 years old.
Okay.
And it was, you can see up to where the brickwork changes,
Yeah.
all the way from there back to this gable end.
Long, yeah.
And it was either 2, maybe even 3 cottages.
Yeah,
So great reactions outside.
Yep.
Let's see what you think of the interior.
definitely.
With an organic history that spans hundreds of years, this semi-detached period property is chock full of vintage charm. But unlike the first house yesterday, it will hopefully have the potential that Jazz was after. So, a small sitting room.
Yes, but a very nice one.
Small but cosy.
Yes.
I mean, style-wise,
Yeah.
it feels older, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you've got the beams and that, but the ceiling isn't too low.
No.
So yeah, it's okay. It's just about big enough, certainly just for me. If I'm not going to have loads and loads of visitors.
No,
But,
okay. Well, I personally think that this is literally a room where you just relax in when you're here in the house on your own. I think
Okay,
the entertaining part probably is the other end of the
comes
house.
later. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
certainly got a lot of character to it, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
it really has. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I think this is potentially the weakest area of the house as regards to
okay.
size. I
Right,
think we get
okay.
better as we go that way.
Good.
Let me show you.
Right.
Right then, this starts to feel a bit more sort of country cottage, I think, through here.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah. Nice big dining room. Good sized table, and I just see it's leading through into the kitchen.
Sort of more of a socialising area.
Yes.
I love the floor as well.
Yes, yeah, it's
so-
great, isn't it? Yeah, it's a Folkestone effect. Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at this kitchen. Not a huge kitchen, but
No.
just a kitchen.
Yeah. And got loads of cupboards. I can see all the appliances are in here already.
So does it work for you at the moment?
I think so, yeah. I might update it in a few years' time, perhaps. But it's perfectly livable with.
Okay. I mean, downstairs-wise, what you've seen so far, is it working? I understand it's quite different to how you live at the
It's
moment.
very different
Yeah.
to what you've got now, but when you move to the country,
Yeah.
it's going to change of
Style.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
I get the sense that the configuration isn't really working for Jazz, as she had set her heart on a kitchen diner. However, the kitchen sits at the back of the property, just behind the internal garage. And subject to the correct planning permission, of course, if she could bear to sacrifice it, she could knock through to the current kitchen or dining room to create a really impressive space. And now we've taken in all the living space, it's time to continue upstairs. Okay, might have to duck, I'm not sure. Oh,
No, we're okay.
fine. Now then, master bedroom.
Yes.
How are we doing for size?
Very well. This is fine. You get a king-size bed in here, I reckon. Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
one bedside there. Nice double aspect. But, yeah, lovely.
Good. I mean, you've got 3 bedrooms here, 3,
Yeah.
you know, double bedrooms. The third one is fairly small, I
Yeah,
suppose,
right.
but it's always going to be a spare.
Yes.
And the bathroom has a bath and separate shower. That's just been done up
Big
as well.
bathroom then. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds promising. Yes.
So, size-wise, I mean, upstairs, it almost, I don't know why, but it almost seems bigger. I do know
Yeah.
why. We go over the garage.
You do, don't you? Yes.
Yeah.
Thinking about it from outside. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just that little bit longer.
So, seem quite happy up here.
Yes.
Good. I think you've got enough living space here, and you've even got a bigger garden outside. So let me take you there,
Yeah.
but also start thinking about price.
Right.
Okay? Well, all that remains is to see what's on offer outside, and I'm confident the garden here won't disappoint. Right then. A few little bits and bobs to this garden.
Oh, yeah, it sort of comes round the corner, actually. It's bigger than I thought looking out from the house. Yeah, it's lovely.
It
This
really
is
is, isn't it?
perfect size.
Just tucked that away from view, there's a little summer house with power
Oh,
in
right.
there as well.
Yeah.
It's really nice and relaxing there. Did you like it?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's really sweet.
It's nice and secluded.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, obviously there are neighbours, but they're not looking over into you. It feels nice and private.
Well, I was hoping this is kind of what you asked for. You said you wanted
Yeah.
neighbours nearby, someone that you could, you know, give the key to and feed
Yeah.
the cats if you go away.
Yeah.
But the countryside around.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely ticks that box.
Good. So, as it's ticking boxes,
Oh,
to
here we
use
go.
your
Here
parlance,
we
not
go,
mine,
Johnny. Right, yes.
who wants to have a go first at guessing the price?
Go on, Kerry.
About £290, I think. It was under budget for you, I think.
Yeah.
£290.
Yeah, I'll say 305.
This house is on the market for offers around £335,000.
Really? Ow.
Miles
Ooh,
out.
dear. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, right at the top of the budget, maybe
Yes.
a bit over. Something to think about then.
Well, hopefully so. Why don't you go back into the house, have a look at the other bedrooms, have a look in that bathroom. I think you'll like
Yeah.
that. And then
Okay.
we'll meet up outside in a moment.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Just edging over budget for offers in the region of £335,000, the second property is a characterful period cottage. It comes with 2 reception rooms, 3 bedrooms, and a pretty enclosed garden. The location is well suited to Jazz, being a couple of miles walk away from the fascinating town of Sandwich. And it suits her cats too, as it's set down a quiet lane surrounded by fields.
This is a nice room, and the kitchen's okay, but it could be so much better.
It's
That bit behind us where the garage is, well, I've no idea the structural implications
Well,
of
you'd have
that.
to
Yeah,
look
get
into
a
that.
builder in, obviously. Well, the location of this one is stunning. Lovely and quiet, safe for the cats. Coming actually inside into the cottage, it is a cottage, of course, and I'm used to a big modern house. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
All done inside?
Yes, thank you.
Something to think about?
lots to think about, I think, for Jazz.
Good, OK. On to the next one. The final stop on this tour is back inland and much closer to Jazz's parents near Canterbury. In fact, we're just 15 minutes drive from them in the historic village of Chartham. Located on the banks of the River Stour, Chartham wraps itself around a picturesque village green, and local conveniences include a shop with a post office and a couple of pubs. Right on the edge of the village is the Mystery Property, an apartment that takes up one wing of this former Victorian building. The Mystery Property, what do you think? It's a splendid looking building.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, originally a Victorian building, it was converted just under 10 years ago, we believe.
Okay, yeah, so it should be quite new and fresh inside.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So how many apartments was it divided up into?
It's divided into just 4 apartments.
Wow.
And we're going to be looking around the ground floor to the right-hand side as we look at it there.
Okay.
Ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for your parents.
Oh, yeah, and good for parents, yes.
Well, there's method in the madness,
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's look inside. The Mystery Apartment is currently unoccupied and is accessed through a rather grand communal entrance hall. Let's see what Jazz and Kerry think. OK. Now, you do look upstairs, right? Yes.
That is one tall ceiling, and you would really need a long feather duster to get out the
Very
cobwebs.
Yes. Now, this hallway forms the spine of the apartments,
Yeah.
if you like. We've got a third bedroom, or maybe even, I don't know, a study next door.
Yeah.
But as we're closer to the bedroom stock, let's start with the master bedroom, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, so this is your master bedroom, as I said.
Yeah.
Size-wise, what are we thinking?
Good size. That is a king-size bed. Might even be bigger than that. It's a whopping great bed. Ensuite here, very handy, and loads of wardrobe space there.
Bags of wardrobe space.
Oh, yeah.
You've got two bedrooms here.
Yeah.
The one next door is also ensuite, but an
Yeah.
ensuite shower.
Oh, yeah, right.
You've
so-
also got a separate shower room and a loo. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more loos here you can check a stick at.
I'm getting quite excited about this.
I can tell you are. Let's just wait and see the rest
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
come on, come
before-
on. Hold me back, hold me back.
Well, you've got options here. I'm rather looking forward to showing you the next part of the apartment.
Right.
Because if you don't like it, well, I'm in the wrong job.
Okay.
Now this is your dining room,
Okay, right.
which feeds very nicely into, look at this.
Lounge, I presume.
Yes.
Wowzer. Oh. Yeah, massive.
Big enough for you, Jane?
Yeah, I was trying to think.
Oh, I should hope so.
My furniture's going to be like rattling around like a pimple on a drum in here.
It's certainly big enough to
Yes.
be a living dining room if you
Yeah.
wanted to. But as you've got
Yeah.
a third bedroom or a study and a dining
Yeah.
room, you've got more than a few options here.
Multiple
haven't you?
options, yeah. And I like the fact that it's got the windows on two sides, so it's nice and light.
This is a better shape for you as well.
Yeah,
isn't
this is a bit
it? So-
squarer, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's very impressive.
Good. You sound very impressive. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think of the kitchen then. Walk you through. Nice flow, isn't there?
Yes.
Kitchen diner.
Not huge, but space for a perfectly reasonable table.
Yeah, I mean, you say not huge. This is the biggest one we've seen.
Is it?
Yeah. Funny, isn't it?
It's just a contrast to the
Just because
other
you've just come from an aircraft hangar.
Yes.
Compared to the lounge,
Kitchen is, functional, but rather dull. It looks like a typical builder's kitchen, isn't it? That you just put in to be enough. Yeah, but it's perfectly adequate. I can live with it for a few years.
Could you bake a cake in it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's all we need to know then, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. But the plumbing and everything is here. So.
Yeah, you got all the basics, everything you need just for day-to-day living. But I would certainly change it.
Okay. All right. Now, there is some outside space with this out the
Yes,
back.
good.
Let me show you. Apart from altering the kitchen to suit her personal style, I think that Jazz is buying into the potential of this generous mystery property. And there's no shortage of room outside too. Right, now these are communal gardens.
Yes.
But this is unofficially, I suppose, more of a private area for you, although it's not, officially yours. I don't see
Yeah.
why anybody else would use it.
Yeah.
And then this,
Yeah.
well, this is the communal element.
Yes.
This is all looked after for you. Now, there's a service charge, not a small one, of £1,800 a year. Okay. Now, included with that is, as you might expect, buildings insurance, all the maintenance. I think they're overdue a visit here, to be honest with you. Plus, there's a gymnasium here as well.
Oh, that's a bit tiring.
Is it?
Yes.
Not really your cup of tea?
I did all that stuff in my youth.
Well, the footprint is in the entire ground floor of your flat. It's
Right,
a huge gym.
Wow. Okay.
It's well worth a look.
Yeah.
So, seeing what you've seen, knowing what you've known inside the place, how much do you think this apartment is on the market for?
I would say 285.
Okay.
I raise an eyebrow.
How about you, Kerry?
I think I'll stick with 290.
Well, you might as well.
It's got to be right at some point.
Yeah, well, a stopwatch is right twice a day. Well, this apartment is a much better guess. This place is on the market. It's just been reduced to offers around £315,000.
Yeah, okay.
Never let an asking price put you off being interested in a property.
Okay.
All right. Now, look, I think you should definitely go and have a look at the other bedrooms.
Yes.
And I'll meet you at the front whenever you're ready.
Okay then.
All right? Catch you in a bit.
Right.
Yes.
With a guide price of £315,000, the mystery property is one of 4 elegant apartment conversions. The rather spacious accommodation lends itself to 3 bedrooms, 2 of which are en suite, which is ideal for friends and family when they stay. There's also a kitchen diner as well as 2 separate reception rooms that include a grand double aspect sitting room. The ground floor location also leads out into the peaceful managed gardens that could be ideal for her 3 pet cats.
Well, here's the gym, and it's certainly well equipped, loads of gear.
Yeah.
I prefer to have a nice, simple walk in the fresh air rather than down here.
Exercise naturally, I think.
Yeah. The first impression coming into the apartment was a complete wow, I think just because of the big volume, the high ceilings and the nice big rooms. I do have some concerns about living in an apartment and the management process of the communal areas. That just strikes me as a little bit of hassle, which I'm not so keen on. I don't think it's really the one for me this time.
Ah, how are the gym bunnies?
Oh, we're completely
Tired.
pooped. Yes. Yeah, I ran 10K.
Yeah, I don't believe you for a moment. Let's find you somewhere to have a bit of a conflab,
Yep.
and then we'll catch up about all the 3 properties.
Okay.
Okay. Set in a prime location at the foot of the North Downs, in the 1840s, the coastal town of Folkestone became a prosperous hotspot, thanks to greater access offered by the arrival of the railway. By the latter half of the century, the town had been developed into a high-class Victorian tourism resort, and strolling along the cliffs on the mile-long Lees Promenade was a very fashionable pastime. In 1885, a water-balanced lift was built to transport visitors and locals up and down a 100-foot stretch from the promenade to the seafront. And over 100 years later, the original lift is still in full working order. I caught up with local historian Eamon Rooney to find out more. So what makes this lift here so special then, Eamon?
Well, it's very special because around the country there are lots of lifts. A lot of them are powered by electricity.
Yeah.
But there are only 3 still using the water balance system, and we are one of those 3.
The lift operates using water and gravity and is controlled from a cabin at the upper station. Underneath each carriage is a tank which holds about 400 gallons, and when the top tank is filled to exceed the weight of the lower one, it all starts to move. Both carriages are attached to cables that pass around a pulley wheel, and the speed of the ascent is controlled by an operator using a brake. In essence, it's a simple matter of balance then, really, I suppose, is it?
It is. But I think it's ingenious in its simplicity, and somebody had to actually think of that in the first place.
Yeah. Can we go and take a closer look?
By all means, be my guest.
Wonderful. By the early 1900s, passengers had no less than 4 water-driven lifts to choose from along this stretch of coast. But this Grade 2 listed Lees lift is the only one that still survives. Now then, this looks very Victorian.
It is.
What does this bit of machinery do then?
These are the water pumps. They're called reciprocating piston pumps.
Right.
When the water is released down at the bottom, we collect it in 2 big tanks underneath the roadway.
So this water's pumped right to the top to then fill the tanks of the...
He fills from that, he uses that as a source.
OK, can we see it in operation?
Yeah, certainly.
Cool. Great stuff. Now I've seen how the mechanics work, it's time to experience them in operation. At the same time, I can soak up the glorious panorama overlooking the English Channel. So now we're in, is this called a car, a cabin?
Car, we call it a car.
Right, how many people would normally get in here?
We work around about 10.
The lift actually closed for business in 2009, but 2 years ago, a group of local residents, including Eamon, formed a not-for-profit company and brought the lift back into service. Who runs it now?
There's 3 directors who form what we call the Folkestone Lees Lift CIC.
Yeah.
And we employ drivers who had previous experience of running the thing. We've also got a team of volunteers.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, you've got volunteers, so the community have come together to help out here, but also you've re-employed drivers that would, well, I imagine, be obsolete in employment terms now.
Well, where else would these skills be needed?
No, it's brilliant. How many people do you think, in all of its years, have travelled this way?
Would you believe a figure of about 40 to 50 million?
40 to 50 million. It's a very handy way of getting about, isn't it?
It sure is. It's a convenient way down and an easy way up.
Well, thank you very much for the guided tour. Very interesting. I'm going to use this transport to take the car back down, I think.
Yep.
Thanks very much, Eamon. Good to meet you.
And you, Johnny.
Well, a very novel and charming form of transport, I'm sure you'll agree, and long may it prosper. time to catch up with today's buyer to see if the county has charmed her with any of its properties. So, how have you found looking for properties in this part of Kent then, Jazz?
It's been really interesting, just driving around the area from location to location.
Yeah. So let's talk about property number one, the first place we looked at yesterday afternoon, isn't it?
Yes.
What do you think about the first property now?
I think it was a beautiful little jewel box of a house. Beautifully presented, lovely downstairs, and it was a lovely quiet location, great for the cats. But upstairs, the bedrooms really were very small, especially the second one. It was very tight.
So, Kerry, you know, you had your brief to help Jazz out. I mean, could you see Jazz living in that first house?
Possibly not. Upstairs was just too small for Jazz's requirements, I think, for future-proofing what she wants to do.
All right, fair enough. So, today, we went to look at the second property.
Yes.
I wanted to show you something bigger, inside and out.
Yes.
And I think it was.
Yes, yeah. The location was spot on. It was beautiful. And the garden was just right, and the views out to the front. But this time, the downstairs wasn't quite right. Typical. I'm picky, aren't I? But, I mean, I could make it work maybe with some sort of building work. We might be able to use the garage and introduce that space into the house. But that's quite big building work.
Yeah.
But that one, I think, is still... It's on the list. That's still a possible contender.
OK, well, that's two properties down.
Yeah.
And I was starting to wonder whether or not I should show you another period property, really.
yeah.
But the trouble is, in this part of the world, you want a villagey or rural location for the sort of budget we've got and the size of house you're after, you probably are looking for an older house.
Right,
So
okay,
then,
yeah.
the mystery property I thought was playing into our hands somewhat, a conversion, an apartment. And you had great reactions at the start,
I
didn't you?
did. I mean, I walked in and I thought, way, hey, brilliant. The feeling of space and light, especially like that living room, that was amazing. And the great big windows.
Yeah.
And I was like really getting excited. But then we went into the kitchen, I was like, ooh, that's not great. But I can do stuff with that, yeah.
Well, that's where you
yeah.
cut in, isn't it, Kerry? I mean, you...
The kitchen was a good size. The kitchen is bigger than the kitchen you've got now.
Yes,
But it was
yeah.
the way it was fitted at this time.
There's a real shame. But of course, that I can do stuff with that if I've got the money.
Does that mean that maybe the second property is the favourite out of the three?
Yes, it is the favourite out of the three, and I'll definitely keep it on the list and discuss it with Mum and Dad and see what they think, and maybe go back for a second viewing as well. Yeah.
Well, I think Jazz has learnt an awful lot about what she thought she wanted and what she actually wants.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think it's been very, very valuable for you.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I'm very encouraged by the fact that the second property is of interest.
Yes.
I think, if nothing else, it serves as something to compare any other properties in the area against.
Yes.
But do please let us know what your next step is, especially if you go back to Sandwich, and even more so if you go back to that house.
Yes, of course I would.
And Kerry, thank you very much for your help and assistance.
Oh, thanks. It's been interesting.
Yeah, hasn't it, Jess? Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, for Jazz, searching for properties in this part of Kent was a bit like going back to her roots. So I was particularly chuffed when I introduced her to new areas, especially the villages around Sandwich. She seemed quite taken with the place. But just how taken with the house itself, well, that remains to be seen. I think it's a great idea for her to go back to the house and have a second viewing, especially as she's got ideas of maybe converting into the garage. But no matter what she chooses to do, I'm sure, just like me, you wish her the very best of luck. See you next time. If you would like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.